Hello, my abundance seekers, my Beyond Ego VIPs. This is the month to think about abundance. Why abundance? Well, as we start the new year off, we think about the lists that we like to make, right? We think about what are we going to do this year? How are we going to make it a great year? And why not start off with the idea of abundant thinking, abundant wishing, wishes fulfilled, all of the beautiful things that come with an overflow of goodness to the spirit, which includes gratitude. And it also can include money. It can include some financial rewards. It can include new customers, new types of customers. It can include all sorts of things, moving across the country, getting a new apartment, finding the love of your life, because it happens when we least expect it. And as we go into this abundant state, I ask that you listen to my meditation several times. You can go back to the affirmations that I wrote to you in your email. But the most important thing to do as you go into this state of abundant thinking during January is to start by surrendering. Start by surrendering. Now, when we think about the flow of beautiful oceans of goodness towards the soul, it's the reciprocity of balance, the reciprocity, the dichotomy of the duality of letting in and letting go, right? So you've probably heard me mention before, I've definitely mentioned surrendering to you prior to this. It's throughout my books. But if you don't know about surrendering, or if you just want a little bit of reminder, surrendering is the art of letting go. It is an in the moment physical and actual mental state of being, right? I say physical because I add a little bit of physicality into the idea of surrendering. So when I usually say surrendering in my books, you'll get the physical video here. When I ask you to surrender, I'm going to ask you to take a moment to take a seat or stand. And surrendering towards something that you just want to change, surrendering towards a photo or a relationship or your computer or your website or your client list or anything that you wish, right? You know, we talk about making these vision boards, and if something is blocking that vision, it cannot come in, right? The reciprocity of balance, what you seek is seeking you. There has to be something let out in order to let in that abundance, right? So we're going to go through this practice here together. So as we let in more abundance, we're going to find a place of surrendering, and we do that by standing or sitting and facing something that we feel blocked by, facing something that we know that we're not getting right now, and it's kind of sort of in the way, or it's just not working out, right? It's something that is just not working out for you, and you want it to be different. Unfortunately, it is not. So you can either fight the current or you can swim with it and not sink. Stay afloat. So as you sit and face or stand and face this obstacle in your life to surrender, I want you to close your eyes and raise your hands to the sky. And again, this doesn't have to be religious. It doesn't even have to be spiritual. It could just be like a yoga move, right? We'll make this the surrendering asana, okay? So just close your eyes, face something. Raise your hands. You don't have to, create any muscles with that. You can just keep the elbows close to the ribs here. And just say thank you. Just repeat the words, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Surrendering to something means that you find gratitude with it. It's like we're finding peace with each other. You're not working out. I'm going to surrender to you because I'm not going to fight the current anymore. And when you take that quiet time, you can then put your hands on your heart or keep your hands up just take that moment, take at least 5 to 10 minutes in that surrendering moment, in that physical moment where you're either having your hands open, like opening the heart. They say that the extension of the hands are an extension of the heart. So when you open your hands, it's like an extension of the heart, right? So just standing or sitting, closing the eyes, reflecting, being quiet in the mind, placing the hands over the heart, closing the eyes, and just coming to peace with what is not working. And you just say, okay, I'm ready for my next, and I understand. I am at peace with this that's not working out, and I believe that whatever is ready to come in will come in. And with that silence, surrendering, whichever way that you do it physically, in those moments of bliss, it calms the nervous system, circulates the breath, and the neurology of the brain starts to get reprogrammed. And you have to really believe it in here in order for all of this to make sense, right? And in my next book, you'll read about it. In the Kind Communicator Philosophy, this has to be kind of equal here, right? So when you think about letting all of this go, it's that reciprocity of balance that finds its way into your aura and your system and your universe, so that now that you've let that go, now that you've surrendered to whatever that is, the abundant flow may now enter your life. The abundance of X, whatever you're creating this X to be this month in our abundant month together, whatever you're manifesting, whatever you're writing your mantras and affirmations about, whenever you're walking into that mansion that I talk about in the meditation about opening those doors, what are you seeking? What you seek is seeking you. So this surrendering is that guide, right? It's like the inhalation and the exhalation. You can't just inhale, you have to exhale, right? It's like the idea of communication growth to me is a letting go of what doesn't serve us, our habits, and a letting in of new communication rituals and ways that we speak, new behaviors, new body language that we can take up instead of something that may not have been serving us, right, in our communication habits. So the surrendering process is the same way to bring a greater amount of abundance into our life, because we become at peace with something. And it just creates more room in the soul, right? Whenever you're upset, whenever you're feeling stressed or tension or anxious, you always feel like a close in the chest. So there's not really that much room for expansion. There's a contraction. There's no way that abundance can come in because you're closing everything off. But when you're opening the shoulders like your angel wings, when you're taking a stance, connecting your heels to the earth, connecting your sits bones to your chair, lengthening the spine, creating energy out the crown of the head, opening the hands like an extension of the heart, or placing the hands over the heart, closing the eyes, and becoming one with something that is not working out for you, you can release it back into the ether, back into the universe, but with grace and with joy and with peace. And with that, there will be something new to enter your life that comes in with just as much rich peace and joy and bliss. And that's where that reciprocity, that duality of letting go and letting in comes in. And that's where our levels of abundance can rise. And that's where, you talk about the power of prayer. Well, the power of prayer is real. And you don't have to be religious. You don't have to believe in God or the universe or Jesus or spirit. You can just have the power of prayer to be a belief system. We used to play belief as little kids, make believe. Toys used to talk to each other. We forget all about all that stuff when we're adults, and we're like, well, this sucks. Life is hard. Why don't we go back to that state of belief? From being in that childlike state of bliss and making things believable again. And that is when the spirit opens. That's when the spirit flies. That's when our imagination and innovation levels start to churn, because expansion happens on the inside, and what's able to come in and what is ready to come in will therefore be welcomed, because you therefore said goodbye with grace to something that wasn't there with your surrendering process. Practice this not only for the month, but throughout your life. And if it works for you, if you like this idea, message me, connect with me. I appreciate you being here. Happy membership. And I love you. I wish you so much abundance. And I can't wait to hear about all of the magical things that come into your life as you surrender and let go and welcome what is.